Was in. Oh my God. What a game. What a game. Spain 5, France 4. And you know what, guys? There is so many talking points to get into. So many talking points. I don't even know where to start, and I'm just hoping that that I touch on each talking point and I don't forget because, sorry, bear me 1 minute, guys. Yeah. So, I mean, what a game that was. France were 4-0 down, and in the end, they've actually made it very respectable, I would say. I think I'll go as far as saying as well. I'm just gonna say this now. Spain are gonna beat Portugal in that final. That game there was such a high quality game. Big up to Reluctant Gamer. That was such a high quality game. Those two teams there, and as I said, for me, Spain have won this Nations League now. Big up to Barbara Joseph as well. So Spain for me have won this. They've won this Nations League because that game there was so high quality. There was so much talent on that pitch. It's one of them things where they're gonna have too much. Even if France would have won the game, I would say France would beat Portugal as well because France had their chances. Obviously Spain going 4-0 up, and then, as I said, Spain and then France getting back into it. Making it respectable in the end. But what I would say is, as I said, yeah, that was a high quality game. And the starting lineups for me, there was a few surprises. I think looking at Spain, I thought Pau Kabasi was going to play. To think that Pau Kabasi didn't get any minutes, big up to Daniela Iacona as well. To think that Pau Kabasi didn't even get any game time, I was quite shocked. So Lenormand started with Dean Howson, and again, I didn't think Dean Howson was going to start, but to be honest with you, he had a decent game. Big up to Sham, guys. If you're just coming through now, if you haven't watched that Spain versus France semi-final, one of the best games I've seen. What a high quality game that was. Sham, listen, man, what a game that was. That was such a high quality game. Big up to Your Way as well. Guys, there's so many talking points to get into. I want to touch on this. I want to touch on the lineup, because I predicted, Spain to play, Cucurella and Pedro Porro as the fullbacks, Unai Simon in goal. I didn't think Dean Howson would start. I thought Pau Kabasi would have played, but Dean Howson played. The midfield, I was shocked to see Fabian Ruiz not starting the game. Mikel Merino, Martin Zubimendi, and Pedri. And then the front three, again, I thought Alvaro Morata was going to start, but Oyarzabal played. And then obviously Yamal and Nico Williams either side, And I think first things first, guys. Going to Spain, to France's team before you forget. France's team, I was a bit shocked, to be fair. And I didn't think that... So there's so many things to get into. I was looking at some of the news as well. So I didn't think that Michael Olise was going to start. And he kind of surprised me, Didier Deschamps. But I'm thinking because he plays Griezmann, as the number 10, obviously there's no more Griezmann now. I think the fact that he put Olise there, was to be fair, it was surprising. But it was a good move for me when I see the lineup. Dembele and Desiree Doué starting as well. Mbappe through the middle. And to be fair, I thought Mbappe actually played very well, considering he's on the losing side. But I thought he played well. The midfield, Manu Kone and Adrien Rabiot. Again, I thought Tchouaméni was going to play. And Tchouaméni got literally no minutes. And in defence, Pierre Kalulu making his debut. And again, I didn't have Kalulu to start. I thought Pavard was going to start. But when you actually think about it, if you've got the pace of Nico Williams, Kalulu up against him was a good plan really to match him for pace. And then Teo Hernandez and then Clement Longley and Ibrahim Kanate, Mike Maignan in goal. And I think today, guys, I think first things first, as I said, Spain will beat Portugal in that in that final, and for me, France will beat Germany because that was a high quality game. And in the end, I think France just showed their quality. Obviously, they gave themselves too much to do, And what I want to say is Lamine Yamal. Lamine Yamal, for me, guys, has just cemented himself as the favourite for the Balon d'Or now, because it's not a coincidence how he comes up, in a final, shows what he's got to do, shows what he's got about his game. And, Dembele, for me, I thought he had a decent game, but Yamal's just showing everyone why he's the best player in the world right now. And you had, on the other side, Desiree Doué, who a lot of people are comparing to Yamal. I think it's safe to say that, as good as a player Doué potentially looks, he's no Lamine Yamal. Lamine Yamal is on a different level to anyone, And, well, maybe not to everyone, because I'm going to talk about a certain player in a minute. And as I said, I think Yamal got 2, including a penalty, and Spain are in the final. And I think Yamal's the favourite for the Ballon d'Or now. I think that might actually do it. That might get him over the line, I think. But it's going to be interesting. So I think we've seen, 17-year-old, best player in the world, and he's going to dominate football, you would think. But guys, Ryan Cherki, what a player, what a finish. Guys, he's coming to the Premiership for Man City, and I think you're going to be looking at one of the best players in the world. I think at Man City, he is going to cause absolute problems. And again, because Man City dominate the ball, with Cherki's quality, he is just he's gonna tear it up, man. What a goal! And again, he created the goal for Kolo Muani as well with the cross. And he's quality. I mean, I feel for Michael Olise because Michael Olise is a top player. But if I'm honest with you, Cherki's just come onto that pitch, and if I'm honest with you, they've got the third place players against Germany. He has to start, and I think he will start with that cameo appearance. I mean, his technique is a joke. What a goal! And again, his influence, man, on that French team when he came on, was clear for all to see, man. What a player! But I think we're looking at 2 players in Lamine Yamal and Ryan Cherki. I think we can be happy with football, man, at this moment in time because, for me, there's 2 players there with just pure quality that we can get behind and kind of just say, football's in safe hands, I would say. I mean, Lamine Yamal, man, what a player. 17 years of age, carrying that France team on his back, and Ryan Cherki on his debut, a goal and an assist. What a performance, man. What a performance. But you know what I want to say as well? When Spain were 4-0 up against France, I was thinking, do you know what? This is actually quite a good thing for France because they need to move away from this Didier Deschamps. Deschamps, for me, is what is holding this French team back. And I believe the French, it was nothing to do with Deschamps' in-game management. I just think, better quality players or not better quality, but I just think there was quality players all over the place in that French squad, and they just turned the game on its head, And I think going forward, they have to move on from Didier Deschamps, because that French team's got so much quality in there. And I think they need a manager that's a forward-thinking manager to take them to the next level now for me, And I think the fact that they got beat in the semi-final, maybe that might be the nail in the coffin to move on Didier Deschamps. He's been there for so long, and I think they just need to go in a different direction now for sure, man. But yeah, what a game, man. That's one of the best games I've seen for a while. I think when they were 4-0 down, France, I thought, there's no way back, And as I said, Mbappe, I think Mbappe played very well, to be fair. He won the penalty, great penalty. He was a threat, to be fair, the whole game. I think the subs made a massive difference, as I say, Turkey, even Bradley Barcola coming on. And to be fair, France had chances, they had a lot of chances. And I think in the end, Spain were fortunate to get over the line because the amount of saves that Unai Simon was making at the end there, and the same for Mike Maignan. He made a couple of saves, made one from Samu Omorodion at the end as well. But Spain go through to the final, guys, and for me, they're going to have too much for Portugal because what they're going to do is dominate the ball. And as I said, if Ronaldo plays, he's going to be a passenger for Portugal because I think Vitinha starts this game as well in the final. They're going to need Vitinha to start because again they're going to need someone that can dominate the ball. But that Spain midfield, I wasn't happy to see Fabian Ruiz on the bench. I think Ruiz should have started the game. Obviously, Marino offers, more of a physical presence, more of a goal threat from midfield. But some of the goals today, guys, I mean, obviously, Nico Williams got the first one, a good team move. The same with the Mikel Marino one, the goal as well. But Pedri's goal, and guys, as I said, Pedri for me, Pedri's along with Vitinha, the best midfielder. Oh, Pedri, Vitinha, and Moises Caicedo for me. 3 best midfielders in the game right now, man. And his finish, even the touch to set him up on the way for the goal, the touch in the middle of the park, and obviously the pass that he played out to, was it Nico Williams? I think it might have been. And then the finish, the little dink, into the far corner. What a player. But the goal of the game, man, was Ryan Cherki. And again, it's not a surprise that Cherki does that because if anyone's seen that compilation video of Ryan Cherki, the guy's technique is another level. I haven't seen someone strike the ball off both feet as comfortable as Ryan Cherki. What a player, man. And to think that he's going to Man City and that deal's almost but done now. I think they're just discussing terms with the clubs. We're going to get into Man City in a minute because I cannot believe the news today, man. There's been a lot of news and we're going to get into it, man, definitely. But guys, yeah, so Spain going through to the final of the Nations League, against Portugal. And my predictions for that game, Spain are going to win that comfortably, I believe. I think Spain win that 2-0, I would say. I think 2-0 they'll win. They just got too much quality in their team and they've got the best player in the world that's going to win the Balon d'Or. Big up Gamer. Gamer reckons 3-0. And then I think the other third place playoff, for me, France will win that. And I think France probably win that by a couple of goals as well. And I think today's game, I think we all saw that, these are two... I would go as far as saying these are the 2 top nations in the world. In Europe, should I say. These are the 2 top nations in Europe, Spain and France. And what a game that was. And as I said, you saw levels tonight. The level of the quality tonight was evident in comparison to what was on the show yesterday. So, yeah, Spain are going to take some stopping. The only thing for Spain, they're going to be, I would say pissed off at the fact that they allowed France to get 4 goals back in the end after being 4-0 up. But as I said, I think, yeah, man, they're going to take some stopping for sure. But guys, big up yourselves. There's 14 of you in there. Only 6 likes. Let's at least try and get 10 likes. So go through some of your questions. And then we're going to get on to some other news, guys, because some of the news I've been seeing today, madness, absolute madness. But big up all the mods. Big up people for coming through. As I said, if you enjoy the channel, if you enjoy the content, make sure you smash that like button. So Gamer says, I predict Spain to win 3-2 France, but 3-2 against France. But 5-4, wow, nearly 10 goals in one game. Yeah, guys, if anyone hasn't watched that game, Spain and France, Nations League semi-final, that's possibly one of the best games I've seen, definitely this season. I mean, that game had everything, quality, you know, good goalkeeping. Yeah, it was just class. I mean, you had Yamal up against. Well, I said it was Yamal up against Dembele because they're the two that are battling for the Balon D'Or for me. But you can arguably say it was Yamal against Doué. And if there's anyone out there that thinks Desiree Doué can touch Lamine Yamal, I think tonight you actually saw that he can't. And that's not saying that Doué isn't a good player, but Doué isn't on Lamine Yamal's level. Lamine Yamal is by himself, man. In terms of quality, I'm putting Ryan Cherky up there with Lamine Yamal. Because the way that Lamine Yamal plays, man, and what I love about Yamal is that for a 17-year-old, his intelligence on that pitch is superior to many players on that pitch. I look at someone like Pedri. Pedri's got that football brain, but what Yamal is doing at 17 years of age, he shouldn't really be doing. I mean, the guy just knows when to pass the ball, when to cross the ball, when to shoot, when to dribble. And he's got a great temperament as well. I mean, he's just full of quality, man. And it's refreshing to see a player like that because we've been starved of real good footballers over the last couple of years, I would say. But we've actually got a genuine superstar in the making, and he's only 17, and he's a key player for club and country, And as I said, Desiree Doué is a good player, but if anyone was debating whether Doué can touch Lamine Yamal, there's no way he's touching Lamine Yamal, not after tonight. And as I said, even Bradley Barcola come on the pitch and was more threatening than Doué. But Doué's a good player, but Doué's not Lamine Yamal. Lamine Yamal is just something else. I mean, what a player he is, man. And as I said, I think the Ballon d'Or now for me is in his hands. I think Dembele had a good game, but the fact that Yamal got 2, Spain 1, and Dembele didn't register and they got beat, I think you have to give it to Yamal now. I want to see it given to the best pure footballer, and that is Yamal for me. He always says Yamal is clear. Yeah, listen, 100%, he is clear for me as well. Like, as I said, in terms of quality, I'm looking at Ryan Cherky, man, as someone that can rival him. Ryan Cherky is a joke, and Yamal for me is an absolute joke as well. So, yeah, madness. What a game. So listen, there is no one close to him. Dembele is closer to Elise than Yamal. Well, Dembele and Elise are not similar players, so we can't really compare Dembele and Elise. Not to mention they're both on the same team as well. But in terms of comparing them, is because both of them are going for the Ballon d'Or. So that's where the comparison is. Not as actual football players, but in a sense of this game for me would have shown who's going to win the Ballon d'Or. And I have to say now, Yamal's in the lead. I think Dembele, because he won the Champions League, I think he would have been slightly ahead, but Yamal for me has it now, and I think he wins it now for sure. But as I said, I'm glad that Elise started, and again I thought Elise would be on the bench. I thought they would have played Marcus Thuram as a striker, and again Thuram doesn't even get on the pitch. But the fact that he started Elise in the 10, but I feel for Elise because Elise is a very good player, as a top player. But Ryan Cherky really just come onto that pitch and just showed why he has to play on his debut, because he got the goal was just fucking class, and then the assist was as good. So yeah, madness, man, madness. Marcus Brief says he's trash. Marino is trash. I mean, Marino. I wouldn't say Marino's trash, but he's not someone that should be starting in that Spain midfield for me. I don't know why Fabian Ruiz didn't start alongside Pedri and Zubamendi. And the thing is, I don't want to hear because they just finished the Champions League because Nuno Mendes, João Neves both started for Portugal, and Vitinha was on the bench. So yeah, he has to play regularly for me, Fabian Ruiz. I know Marino got the goal, and he offers a different threat, but yeah, Fabian Ruiz for me has to start 100%. Big up to Merich. Big up to Broderick. Yeah, big up, bro, for coming on. Your Way says, man, just randomly came here. I have to say you got great football knowledge. Yeah, big up Your Way, man. Big up for the compliment, man. Yeah, listen, I've got experience in playing, you know, in coaching, in watching football for years. And it isn't just, you know, just one team. It's just various teams, international as well. So yeah, man, keep giving me your questions, man. And big up yourself for coming on as well. And guys, if it's your first time in here, subscribe to my channel and smash that like button. Big up yourselves. Gamer says, Yamal's intelligence is unbelievable. It reminds me of Messi. Listen, his intelligence for someone of 17 years of age is actually scary. You know, because I was just paying close attention to when he gets the ball. And, you know, many 17-year-olds, you know, they won't know when to dribble, when to pass, when to shoot. And if you watch Yamal's always got his head up. You know, he just knows the right time. And even little things that might go over people's head is that when Yamal knows that there's no way to go through, he doesn't even mind going back to Pedro Porro or going back to the keeper. You know, he'd rather keep the ball than just try and take someone on and lose it. You know, and his intelligence to do that at that age is absolutely scary. You know, you're not meant to have that kind of you know, that know-how, that ability for someone so young. And this is why, for me, he's gonna dominate football, because the thing with Yamal is already the best player in the world at 17, and the level of his ability is so high. He's not going to get better in terms of his level of ability because he's an elite footballer right now at 17. But what he is going to improve is the experience, you know, and the know-how, knowing where to be in the right positions, you know, and that's all going to come with just more game time. But in terms of his ability, the guy is already an elite footballer at 17. So he's going to dominate for the foreseeable, man. And it's going to be great to watch, because I can't believe someone of that age is that good, you know. And yeah, what a player, man. Sham says Gavi is still to come back to his best after the ACL injury in 11 months out the game. Yeah, listen, Gavi, before he got injured was rated very highly. Obviously, if anyone remembers, he was a golden boy winner as well. I think the problem that he's going to have, though, Gavi, is that I don't see Gavi being a regular player in that midfield, because I look at Spain's midfield and you're thinking we still got Rodri to come back, who's their captain, you know. So Rodri comes back if he's fit and plays in that DM. You got Zubimendi as well, you know, that replaced him tonight. Pedri has to play because he's their best midfielder for me, along with Rodri. And then you've got Fabian Ruiz, for me, who is probably one of the most underrated midfielders in the game, because he's one of the best midfielders in Europe. But because you've got the likes of the likes of Pedri and Rodri, I think he gets overlooked. So I don't know where Gavi figures, because I know Gavi was playing as a false nine, but I think, you know, Spain have forwards there. You know, I know Rafa Bell's not a natural striker. Samu Omorodion is, and obviously Morata didn't play today. But I don't know how Gavi features regularly in this team, because that midfield is just stacked. Just like throughout the years, you know, Spain have so much quality midfielders. It's the same thing, you know, and they're going to have youngsters coming through as well. So I don't really know how Gavi is going to get himself back in, you know. I think he'll be in the squad, but in terms of being a regular starter, it's going to be difficult for him to get regular game time, definitely. Yeah, listen, Broderick, man, as I said about Yamal, man, his decision making for someone of that age is not normal, man. It's just not normal. You shouldn't be that switched on, that intelligent at that age. And he's a phenomenon, man. Like, you know, and the comparisons with Messi and Neymar, you know, I've never seen a player that is that identical to the likes of Messi and Neymar. You know, as I said yesterday, you know, he's got the left foot of Messi. You know, doesn't have to do any step overs. You know, it's just technique, body swerves. You know, intelligence, and he's got the arrogance of a Neymar to do it in any situation. You know, so yeah, man, what a player he is. Big up DXR as well. Big up, bro. So Gamer says, I hope we get more players like Yamal soon. Brings excitement back to football. But again, the fact that you're saying that, it is funny because you're not meant to get players like this, really. Players like Yamal. This is why they call players like Yamal generational, because these players come once in a generation. So I don't see any player, you know, at the moment that's even close to someone like that. I look at Ryan Cherky, and Ryan Cherky for me is generational. And the fact that he's going Man City, he's going to show everyone what a player he is, because I mean, he come onto that pitch today, and you would have thought that Ryan Cherky's got about 50 caps, because he just got onto that ball. I mean, the goal and the technique on that strike. I think if you haven't played football before, I don't think you realize how hard a strike that is to do. Knee over the ball. You know, the way he struck that was just supreme technique. And again, the ball he put in for Kolo Muani as well, he couldn't miss. And you've got a player there in Turkey. For me, in terms of talent, is as talented as Yamal. Turkey might even be more talented than Yamal. Like, that's how good Turkey is. So yeah, man. And the fact that he's going to Man City, which we'll get onto in a bit, man. Yeah, it's ridiculous, man. Absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, man. What players, man? Um. So DXR says, I'm just wondering, can Yamal clear out CR7's records? Do you know what? That's a good question, DXR. What I will say to you is that for me, Yamal won't surpass Ronaldo's records in terms of goal scoring. He's not going to do that, because if you look at Yamal first and foremost, Yamal's a creator. He's a creator more than a goal scorer. And obviously, if you remember CR7 when he was younger, he was a winger that evolved himself to being, a goal scorer, as he got more experience. Obviously, you look at Man United. If anyone remembers Ronaldo when he first came through, skinny young winger with a lot of tricks, but no end product. And then obviously put the hours in the gym, put the hours into getting himself better, and then just became this machine, that was scoring goals. And then his goal scoring was so good is that Ferguson just turned him into a forward player, that will just get on the ball and just create havoc for the opposition wherever he could. And then obviously you had likes of Rooney doing his running, Park Ji Sung. Like, Ronaldo was ridiculous, and he was hell bent on scoring goals. And if you think that was good, when he went to Real Madrid, his numbers went through the roof, because how he could keep up with Messi, yeah, because Messi was just the Messi was the pure footballer, but how Ronaldo kept himself relevant with Messi was just by getting numbers. So to take you back onto, will Yamal break Ronaldo's records? I don't think he will, because, as I say, he's a creator first, and the more experience Yamal gets, his numbers in terms of GA will increase, no doubt. But Ronaldo turned himself into a forward in terms of just scoring goals. Lamine Yamal's got so much more to his game that he doesn't even he won't even need to be doing that, you know. And he'll get his fair share of GA that these people love, but he won't reach Ronaldo's records, because that isn't his game. He's a creator first and foremost. But what a player, man. Best player in the world right now, man. Definitely. Um, and Sham said it, man, perfectly. He's got the intelligence of Messi, the flair of Neymar, and the confidence of Ronaldo, all in one. Yeah, I think that's perfect. You know. He always says, off topic, but do you think Neymar can come back to Europe? You know what? I would love Neymar to come back to Europe, because I think Neymar doesn't get the credit he deserves, for me personally, because he was playing at the peak of his powers, in an era with Messi and Ronaldo that were just dominating the Balon d'Or, because of popularity, because of numbers. And the biggest compliment you can give to Neymar is that if Messi and Ronaldo wasn't in that era, Neymar wins, probably about 6 or 7 Ballon d'Ors. That's how good Neymar is. But can he come back to Europe? I don't really see it, if I'm honest. I think he's just gonna wind out his career in Brazil and just enjoy his football, because I think he's had his time for Barca, PSG, obviously went to Saudi. and now I think he's just at home, just loving, just chilling, really loving football. But to the answer to that, yeah, I don't see him come back to Europe, And again, someone like him, if he was to come back to Europe, the money's gonna be mad. So yeah, I don't see that happening. No way. Um, Broderick says Mbappe, Dembele, Elise, Cherky front four. Listen, that is the front four that I said yesterday, Broderick. Big up yourself as well, bro. I said that's the front four that they should play, and to think as well, there's no Anthony Martial, there's no Paul Pogba as well, backing that up. No Chouameni didn't start, no Camavinga. I mean, if I was France's manager, I could put a team together if everyone's fit. That would be frightening. And this is why I can't stand about Deschamps, because Deschamps plays very cautious with this French team. He's got a fascination with Adrien Rabiot as well. He loves Rabiot. I think Rabiot's a good player, but the amount of times Rabiot plays ahead of others doesn't make any sense to me. But if I was a France manager and I had, as I said, Pogba and Martial all available, the team I'd play I'd be my two fullbacks would be Teo Hernandez and Jules Koundé. Mike Maignan in goal. Centre backs would be William Saliba, and I like left-footed centre backs to balance it out, just like when France had, Samuel Umtiti and Raphael Varane. But I think France haven't got good enough left-sided centre backs to play there, so I'd play Saliba and either Kanate or Upamecano. And in the midfield, it'd be Chouameni and Camavinga at the base. Obviously Griezmann's retired, so I'd play Ryan Cherky in the 10, Elise on the right, Dembele from the left, or as a false 9, or Mbappe from the left, or you fit a Martial in there, or even if you don't want to play Chouameni, Camavinga and Pogba, like if everyone was fit, and available, that French team there would be absolutely scary. They've got so much talent. As I said, yeah, it's just about fitting them all in, because to have a bench of, because Martial for me, in terms of the strikers that France have now, he's still one of their best strikers when he's fit, because Kolo Muani, Marcus Thuram, none of them are better than Martial, and they have to play Mbappe up top because obviously he's been playing there for Real Madrid, but it's a sign that they haven't got too many strikers really, But to have a Pogba in there with a Camavinga, and a Cherky in the 10, Elise on the right, Martial, Mbappe, Dembele, I mean, it's frightening, man. So yeah. Do you think this is the game of the year / season? For me, it's the best game I've seen this season. 100%, because even when Spain were 4-0 up, I was saying this is a very high quality game, and if you look at yesterday's game between Germany and Portugal, the quality was low. The quality only upped when the likes of Vitinha and Conceição came on, but in terms of what was happening today, Spain are that good, you know what I mean? And it's a case where I don't even think France were that bad. I just think France were playing up against an elite team with two elite players in Pedri and Yamal. And I think the fact that France came back into it, France have got quality all over the place, you know what I mean? So it's one of them things where, they're always gonna score goals because they've got so much quality. And as I mentioned as well, there's players missing. But yeah, when Spain play Portugal, they're gonna beat Portugal comfortably for me, because just watching that game, the quality was just another level, He always says, Yamal is a joke. When I saw him 1 year ago in his first Clasico, I decided I have to watch his every game. Since then, I was saying he's better than you all think. It was just 1 year and he's the best. Yeah, bro, listen, 100%. I mean, I'll go one further, which again I've mentioned yesterday. When you're making your debut as a 15-year-old for one of the best teams in the world, like you're on your way to being a superstar, because I haven't seen any 15-year-old make their debut. I mean, not even Messi made his debut at 15. Messi made his debut for Barcelona at 16. Yamal made it at 15, which just shows you how good this guy is, because there ain't going to be any 15-year-old making their debut for any of the top clubs. You know, and the thing is with Yamal, it's not like Yamal's making his debut for, I don't know, no disrespect, but let's say, I don't know, Newcastle or Brentford, no disrespect, big up gamer. He's making his debut for arguably one of the best teams in the world, you know, where you have to be a serious player to play for that team. And he's 15, making his debut, you know. So there's the evidence right there, you know. What a player, man. So Sham says, Europe is done with Neymar. No one would want to pay the wages he would want on top of Neymar's injury pro. Yeah, listen, Neymar and Europe is a non-story for me, because as Shams just said, the wage that he's been earning is going to be out of the reach of teams in Europe. You know, as I said, he's getting on a bit now, injury prone. Yeah, he's going to enjoy his life, enjoy his football in Brazil now, man. But what a career he's had. You know, what a career he's had. You know, if anyone's watched Neymar in his prime, again, this guy should have won about 6 Balon d'Ors. You know, another player that made his debut at 15 for Santos in Brazil. You know, ridiculous. Big up to the Samba, Yamal for Ballon d'Or. Yeah, listen, Yamal's the favourite for me now. After tonight, he's definitely the favourite for me, 100%. Sham says, Neymar's days out injured, 100 days, 14 days. Sorry, 100 days, 141 days. Nah, that can't be right. Is that right, Sham? So he's had 100 days out in 2021, 141 days out in 21, 22, and 22, 23, and then 371 days out in 23, 24. I didn't even know that. And the guy still produces to a high level and having that amount of time out injured. Mad. With Turkey, I felt like his talent might be most, but I don't know why I feel like Ben Arfa. Oh, listen, you're bringing back memories. If anyone remembers Hatem Ben Arfa, you know, gamer, if you remember Hatem Ben Arfa, ex-Newcastle player, ex-Leon player as well. Ben Arfa was ridiculously talented. And yeah, that's a great comparison your way, because I feel like Ben Arfa is Cherki. I think Ben Arfa was more mobile than Ryan Cherki. But in terms of the talent, you know, these Algerians, Moroccans, footballers, these guys have just got something else, man. Like, they're so talented, these players. And yeah, I'd liken Cherki to Ben Arfa, actually. That's a great comparison. You know, great comparison. Both left-footed as well. I mean, I know Cherki looks a bit both, but you know, I think he's more left-footed. But yeah, it's a great comparison, man. If anyone remembers Hatem Ben Arfa, you know, I mean, the problem with these Moroccan, Algerian ballers, you know, they're like, it's annoying because they're so talented, but you know, the discipline sometimes ain't always there. But yeah, Ben Arfa was a player, man. What a player he was. Would you say Yamal is much better than Mbappe? That goes without saying, gamer. Like, I mean, you can't. I mean, in terms of comparisons, you know, you can't really compare them because Yamal's a creator and Mbappe is more of a goal scorer. I think the best way you can compare Yamal and Mbappe is that Yamal's Messi and Mbappe's Ronaldo. That's the best way to kind of compare them. But Yamal is a miles better footballer than Mbappe. And Mbappe's game is more pace, acceleration. You know, he's got ridiculous acceleration. But in terms of just pure quality, like Lamine Yamal is another level. So Yamal is better than Mbappe. He is. Yeah, he is. One thing I'll say about Mbappe, though, you know, I'm not a massive fan of Mbappe. I'm a fan of when it comes to the big games, he does step up, and that's one thing Mbappe that can never be leveled against him. He does step up in the big games. You know, you look at that World Cup final, you know, against France when he bagged three penalties. I mean, the mentality that he had in that game was ridiculous. You know, this season, obviously for Real Madrid, you know, his numbers have been very good, even though Real Madrid won nothing. But he does step up when in the big games, man. That's one thing I've always respected him for. But he's not better than Yamal. Nowhere near it. As a footballer, I don't think he's much better. But I see similarities like Messi and Ronaldo. Mbappe's killer. Yamal is more versatile. Yeah, listen, Yamal's just a pure footballer, man. A absolutely pure footballer. Sham says Gav for France manager. Well, my last name's French, so I'm halfway there. But yeah, man, listen, France for me, I'm frustrated with France because France always have quality. They have so much quality, but they've got a dinosaur in Didier Deschamps that is just stifling this team because this French team. I mean, you just saw what France can do. They were 4-0 down and they come back five and getting beat 5-4. And that wasn't Deschamps. That was just the quality of Ryan Cherky and the fact that this team with the quality they have can create chances. It's mad. Anton Martin says Lamine is mid. Yeah, I'm not sure if you watched football before, Antoine. Big up for coming on, but maybe football's the first time you've watched. Maybe today's game was the first time you've watched, man. Kalulu, Rabiot, and Longley should never be allowed at this level. To be fair, you've it's funny actually because you've gone with one mad comment to a good comment, And what I would say is that Kalulu, obviously on his debut, right back or centre back. Rabiot for me shouldn't be starting regularly the amount of times he does. I think Rabiot's a good player, but Deschamps is in love with him. And Clement Longley, I did say he was going to play because, again, there wasn't too many options in defence that could have played. Upamecano, Saliba, all out injured. Loic Bade was there, but obviously Loic Bade is right-footed, and they probably want left-footed centre back for the balance. But yeah, I mean, in terms of they should never be allowed to play at this level, that might be a bit harsh. But what I would say is they probably shouldn't be in regular squads if every player's fit, in my opinion. Because if I'm manager, I don't start neither of them three. That's a certain. But do you think it's good Nations Leagues exist? Because people was whinging about it, all start bring more games. Yeah. So you know what it is for me is that I'm sick and tired, especially England. I'm sick and tired of watching England play Andorra, Luxembourg, Malta. These dead countries, like no disrespect, but these countries are part-time footballers. And England should be destroying these teams, really, 8-9-0. Like, I'm sick and tired of seeing those kind of games. And I want to see games like this, France against Spain, Germany, Portugal, England against Spain, England against France. These are the kind of games you want to see who is the best, who's on top. And it's refreshing for this Nations League that we've seen, although the game yesterday was poor, but it's refreshing to see that that game today, Lamine is joke. He's not close to the best. Yeah, Anton, man, I think you're, I don't know what you're smoking, man, but stop, because I don't know what you're talking about. Lamine's not the best. Have you not watched football before? Like, come on, man, let's not do that. I think Yamal is going to be even better next season. I think Yamal could possibly beat Messi and Ronaldo's Balon D'Or record. Do you know what? That's not a bad shout, to be honest with you, because I think Messi might have I think Messi's got 6 Ballon d'Ors, I believe, and I think Ronaldo might have 2 or 3. I can't remember. If anyone knows how many they've got, then put that in the chat. But I expect over the next 10 years in football, for me, I expect Yamal to have at least 5. I'll be very surprised if he hasn't got 5 by the time he's, late 20s. Maybe even more. Because as I said, I don't see no one close to his level in terms of quality, apart from Ryan Cherky, But, yeah, I'd expect him by the time Yamal is 28, by the time he's 28, if he stays injury clear, I expect Yamal to have about 5 or 6 Ballon d'Ors already. I'll go as far and say that. Because the quality that the guy has is just unbelievable, So, Broderick says Wanyeri. Do you know what? Ethan Wanyeri is very good. Like he's very talented, Wanyeri, and it's not a thing to say that Wanyeri, because I know you put laugh out loud at the end, but Wanyeri is very talented. I mean, he's playing for Arteta. That's not gonna get him. That's not gonna do him any good, in my opinion. Because Arteta's not gonna let someone like that thrive. But he's very talented, and I think the best thing that Wanyeri can do is get away from Arsenal and get regular game time. Because I think this season for me, he has to be playing regularly in terms of starting, 20 plus games, I would say. And if he's not, then I think he has to question his future at Arsenal because for me, he's good enough to be playing more games. And but this manager doesn't really want to play him that much. So because he's got obviously his captain Odegaard, Saka's obviously an automatic starter. So yeah, but 1 year is a very good player. So DXR says, guys, what is Nations League? So it's the basically like a European league, and I believe I think whoever wins the Nations League, I believe, I'm not sure if it's a case where they get seeded for better seeding for the European Championship or something like that. I'm not too sure, but it wasn't only 4 teams. I think you had to play obviously rounds and that to get through to that semi-final. Yeah, but I can't remember the whole format. If anyone knows the format, then let us know. Yeah, big up, Broderick, man. Big up. So Tashan says, hope Martinez did his homework. Listen, there's no way Portugal beat Spain for me because I think, as I said, Spain are going to dominate the ball. The only way I believe that Portugal give Spain problems is in transition. If they're going to go with pace on the flanks, and I think again it's going to be very interesting to see if he starts Conceição because I mean Conceição's rapid, just like Pedro Neto as well. So I want to see if he starts Conceição. But the only way they beat Spain for me, Portugal, is in transition. Ball over the top, using the pace. But if Spain dominate that ball, they're gonna destroy Portugal for me. Because they got some real quality, man. Spain. Big up to Irva. Let's see. Big up to Ennis there as well. Big up, bro, for coming back on. Doué was not at his best today. Do you think the coach made the best decision or the players weren't at their best? But overall, I don't know why Man United didn't pay much for Turkey. Hopefully City utilise. Don't remind me, man. Yeah, don't remind me, man. Why? I mean, I know United looking trying to get Mbuemo, but for me, man, someone of Turkey's ability, man, you had to be in for someone like that. And as you said, man, he's going to Man City, and I'm going to touch on a bit in a little bit once I get through your questions, or your comments. But I think Man City, man, they're going to dominate again, man. From the news I've seen today, but yeah, big up Ennis there, man. I mean, again, I didn't see Doué starting the game. I thought he was going to go with Marcus Thuram as a striker, Mbappe from the left, Dembele from the right, and play a 3-man midfield. I thought he would have gone a bit more cautious. The fact that he started Elise, I was quite surprised, and started Doué as well. But yeah, Doué was pretty quiet. But again, Doué, Doué's a very he's got a lot of potential. But when you're hearing people comparing him with Yamal, like there's no point comparing him. Yamal's on a different level to any player really, at that age. So yeah, I don't think Deschamps. I mean, Deschamps surprised me, but I don't think it was a wrong decision. I just think that, yeah, I mean, Doué didn't really have a great game, but it happens. I think Barcola was more of a threat because of his pace, Mbappe at start of career seemed better than this Mbappe we're seeing. Yeah, listen, I think with Mbappe, Mbappe's obviously had the hype from a young age, and again, I think it all depends what you're watching. I mean, if you're looking at Mbappe as a Ballon d'Or contender. For me, he's not Ballon d'Or level, because the Ballon d'Or for me should always be won by the purest footballer, which is why I'm a massive fan of Yamal and why he should win it. But Mbappe, with his numbers, will always be in the conversation. And obviously the fact he's at Real Madrid as well. But if you look at Mbappe, he left PSG, and it's no surprise in the first season he leaves PSG, they go on to win the Champions League that they've been looking for how long? So you could arguably say that they became a better team with Mbappe going. And Mbappe is a good player, but for the hype that he gets in terms of, people going as if Mbappe is just like an unbelievable player, but I just think he's a good player with a good mentality and who gets numbers. I don't think he's special. I don't. Lamine Yamal's special. Pedri's special, Ryan Cherky's special. These are special footballers that you don't get around too often. I think that with the likes of Mbappe, you're going to get a lot of players like that with just ridiculous pace and can score goals, and I think that's what Mbappe is. And he utilizes what his strengths well. But, if I'm comparing him to likes of Yamal and Cherky and these kind of players, like the talent-wise isn't there, But Mbappe is still a good player, man. And as I said, he played very good tonight, I thought he played well. So your way says, what nation you support, what clubs you support, like Prem and La Liga, Serie A. So the nations I support are France. France are my team. Obviously I got family from France, origins and that there. So France has always been my team. Who do I support? So at the moment, Man United, hoping United can get back to the glory days. And the other team I like to watch is Barcelona. So yes, Man United, Barcelona, and then France national team for me. Let us know who your one is, your way. Let us know who you support. Tassan Martinez isn't a top manager. He's winging it. Under him, Belgium celebrated 3 straight years as FIFA's top-ranked nation, but he was unable to guide a star-studded team to a major honor. Yeah, listen, I'll make you right, man. I think the one thing that what lets me know if you're a top manager or not, and Martinez had his chance. The fact that he's still hell-bent on playing Ronaldo shows me why he hasn't really got what it takes, because any top manager would see that although Ronaldo is Ronaldo, had a great career, you gotta have some balls to drop him. And the fact that Ronaldo plays every game when he's available, I reckon it could be their undoing in the end. Because as I said, if they play Ronaldo against Spain, I think they're gonna struggle, And again, Martinez with that Belgium team, as Shams just said, you think of the likes of Hazard, Lukaku, De Bruyne, Yuri Tillemans, Axel Witsel, Dries Mertens, Vincent Kompany, Vertonghen, Vermaelen, Thibaut Courtois. I mean, they're just quality all over the place, and they still didn't get it over the line. So, yeah, I don't think he's a great manager, and but is him with a chance to win the Nations League, So we have to wait and see, man. But I think Spain win it comfortable. Okay, so Messi has 8, Ronaldo has 5. So Messi's got 8 Ballon d'Ors. I thought Messi had about 6 or 7, but yeah, I mean that's gonna take some stopping. That's gonna take some toppling, should I say? Do I think Yamal is capable of that? I do, but I think for him to top Messi's 8, the first one has to be the one coming up for me. And then he's got 7 to chase, to equal it. But yeah, as I said, I do expect Yamal to win about 5 or 6, definitely. To make 8, I'm not so sure at the moment, because that is ridiculous, and possibly as well, I think it's safe to say that out of those 8 for Messi and the 5 for Ronaldo, people might have different arguments to say, both players probably shouldn't have won as much as that, so yeah, we'll have to wait and see on that one. Yeah, there you go. He's got another 20 years in the game. Obviously, hopefully, if he stays clear of injury. We're gonna be over 50 years old and still watching Yamal play. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, literally, man. That sounds crazy to be honest with you, but you could be right. Um, Manu Kone deserves a shout out. He was really good today, and assuming he was in a big six, he'll be clear as one of the midfielders. But people don't see it. Time will tell. You know what, Ennis there, man. Great question. Because I was going to mention this, because I didn't have Kone to start, But to be honest with you, when we're looking at midfielders around world football, I think there isn't too many. And from what I see of Manu Kone, I think he can do. I think he can go and do a job. If I'm honest with you, I look at what Man United need, and he's probably an ideal player in that midfield. Because I look at Yagate, and I think he's got more quality on the ball than Yagate, and he's also tenacious as well. So whether any other teams are looking at him, I'm not too sure. But yeah, I think people might miss a trick with him because I don't think he was great. You know what I mean? But I thought in terms of his performance, I thought he was actually okay. You know what I mean? I thought he done some good bits, breaking up the play. And as I said, I think he could be someone that, a lot of teams might sleep on in the sense of not looking at him, But yeah, I think he had a good game. Gamer says, did Dembele score today? No, he didn't. No, he didn't score. So he always says, what do you think Barcelona should buy on the left side? I think they have to buy more quality in attack, hoping for Barcola, Leao, Diaz, Rashford. Great value and price. He's great, but in non-Porto. So for me, before we get on to that, obviously looking like Ansu Fati's on his way going to Monaco. I wanted it to work out for Fati because to have two players that have come from La Masia on the wings in Yamal and Fati would have been great business. Really great news for Barcelona as a whole. But it's looking like he's moving on. I think with Barca, they're obviously obviously looking for a player with pace on that side because you got Yamal. Obviously, Yamal's got pace, but he's not known for his pace, And you got Lewandowski, obviously he's still a goal poacher and would need obviously legs around him. So it's quite clear they're looking for pace. If I'm looking at that list right there of Barcola, Leao, Diaz, and Rashford, if we're going for youth, you'll go for Barcola. But again, they've got Lamine Yamal's youth, so I think they probably might want to get someone that is probably a bit more experienced. I think for that list there, I mean, everything points towards Diaz, and that's because, Barcelona's history with South American players is evident, The amount of South Americans they have in their teams is obvious why they've been linked to Diaz. I think Rafael Leao might be a good shout for them because he might offer. I mean, he'd offer something a lot different with his pace and his physicality. Could he fit into the passing of the way Barca want to play? I'm not too sure, but again, he'll offer something a lot different in terms of the pace and the physicality, But yeah, it's looking like they're looking at those players. Leao's not going to happen because AC Milan have already said 109 million is their starting point. Otherwise, they're not talking to anyone. Barcola, I don't expect Barcola to leave PSG. Diaz, obviously, Liverpool already said no. And Rashford, so Rashford's the obvious one. Rashford wants to go there. Obviously, he's got to lower his wage. Obviously, 40 million fee as well. Is there anyone else? Nico Williams, again, obviously being Spanish, is the obvious one as well. I'm not sure who they're going to sign at left-hand side, but they're definitely looking for someone, And from that list there, I'd probably say Leao, because of his physics. I think I'm saying Leao because I think Leao's probably the closest one out of all those players there, probably to Nico Williams in terms of the physicality and the pace, But who knows? Isak this season or Mbappe this season? I would say Isak, because even though Mbappe's got the more numbers, I think Isak's quality of play for me has been better. So I'm gonna say Isak. But Mbappe's got phenomenal numbers this year as well. Iniesta special, Marcelo special, not all about goals. Yeah, listen, you're talking about two of the best players of their generation in their positions. Barcelona, Real Madrid. Yeah, great players, man. If England played France in the final, who would you want to win? France. That's easy. Yeah, France. Um, I don't rate England. I'll be honest with you. I don't rate England. There's multiple reasons why I don't rate England. Multiple reasons, and yeah, I mean the players they've got coming through now, is collectively better than what they've ever had, in my opinion. But yeah, France for me all day. You always says I'm a fan of Yamal and similar players, but you have to put respect on Mbappe. Yeah, listen, I put respect on Mbappe because of the big games that he shows up in, 100%. But in terms of if we're looking at a pure footballer, he's not on Yamal's level as a pure footballer. Um, so Paul Smith says Liverpool's his team, but loves both Madrid and Barca. You can't love both of them, Madrid and Barca. It's got to be one or the other, Paul. But big up, man. Guys, come on, 16 likes. Let's try and at least hit 20. Big up yourselves for coming on. So if you're enjoying the content, smash that like button. And again, subscribe to my channel and big up yourselves. Do you think Yamal winning 3 World Cups is bigger or winning 9 Balon d'Ors and beats Messi's record? Well, that's a good question, because I believe the only player to win 3 World Cups, I believe, might be Pele, if I'm right. I could be wrong. So again, that would be an achievement in itself. 9 Ballon d'Ors, again, Ballon d'Ors are more based on popularity a lot of the time as well. So I don't know really. I'd probably say the World Cups. It probably might be the World Cups. If he was to surpass the record, that's good going. I mean, I'd say Ballon d'Or is based on popularity, so it might not be as important. But I'd probably say World Cups. Yeah. I think France need a new coach, but I feel like Pogba, like midfielder, have to be there. Pogba was for me pure talent and most versatile midfielder we saw, just pure football, like Neymar midfield. 100%. Like for me, Paul Pogba, in terms of everything a midfielder needs, has it. And when I say has it, I still believe he has it. He's the most complete midfielder I've ever seen in terms of, he's an athlete. He's got decent pace. He's strong. He's good in the air. He's technical with both feet. He can pass off both feet. He can score goals. He creates. There isn't a weak. He can dribble. He can dribble like a winger. He's skillful. He's press resistant as well. Like, there isn't no weakness to Paul Pogba's game. He's probably the most complete midfielder that I've ever seen. Ever seen. Most complete central midfielder. Because central midfielders that we remember, are not meant to have all those attributes. And he literally has all those attributes. Like, there isn't no weakness. Yeah, big up, man. Big up, Enister. He always says, I hope Mino will start his class, but Ruben has to figure out who is he going to play with him and Bruno. So, big up your way. What I would say, the fact that Bruno's staying is a massive problem, I'm not going to go too much into it, but I'm fed up with this player. And the fact that the club didn't move hell on earth to get him out the club, get the money in, and invest in other players is an absolute joke. And in this system, Mino doesn't play. This is the problem. And for me, Mino, if we're being honest with you, Mino shouldn't really be playing regularly anyway. But so obviously he's 19 years of age. If Man United were the Man United that they're meant to be, Kobe Mino's coming off the bench, just trying to feel his way into the team, getting like cameo performances. But I think the fact that Man United are that bad, and obviously last season Mino had his breakthrough season, I think people are clamoring for Mino to be starting games, but in this system of the 3-4-2-1, the only place Mino can play for me is in the 10, left 10, right 10. But he's not going to play left 10 because Cunha's coming now. So I don't really know what's going to happen with Mino. You know, the best bet for me would be to change this formation and play a 4-2-3-1 or play a 4-3-3, which would mean that Mino will have more options to play. Because in a 4-3-3, he can play as one of the central midfielders. You know, in a 4-2-3-1, he can play, as I say, slightly deeper behind the 10 or play in the 10. But this 3-4-2-1 that Amarim's hell-bent on playing doesn't get the best out of Kobe Mino. And to be honest with you, it's not getting the best out of many players. So, yeah. So Sham says, your way, you share the same views about Pogba as Gav. I said in the last stream, Deschamps is done now. He's been there since 2012. Time for a change. Yeah, listen, 100%. And yeah, listen, Paul Pogba, man. If there's anyone here that doesn't rate Paul Pogba, then I'm sorry, man. You're not a lover of football because Paul Pogba, as I say, is the most complete midfielder that I've seen in terms of attributes. You know, as I said, there's not many midfielders that have all those attributes. You know, if any, and he's one of them. So, if you were to pick to sign another, either Osimhen or Gyökeres, who do you think is the preferred striker for United? So the preferred one for United is Gyökeres, because obviously Gyökeres used to play for Amarim. Who would I sign between Osimhen and Gyökeres? I'd probably say Osimhen because Osimhen has proved it in a league that I would say is more. It has a better standing than the Portuguese league. So Osimhen won obviously a Scudetto with Napoli, you know, and what's his name? Gyökeres won one with in Portugal, which, you know, this is the same Portugal that had Darwin Núñez come from there, and look how shit he is. So I would say Osimhen, but in terms of who's more suited to the manager, obviously it'll be Gyökeres. In my opinion, I wouldn't sign either one of them, if I'm honest, because the striker that United should have gone for was John Duran, who's in Saudi now. And again, I've been calling for John Duran to be signed by United for time, but you know, the fact that they allowed him to go to Aston Villa, you know, is annoying in itself. And now he's in Saudi earning that money. But I think for sure he'll come back to Europe, maybe next year. So, so the Bobinator says France got cooked. I mean, they did, but in the end, it was respectable, to be honest with you. So they only got beat 5-4 in the end. Because at one time, that was looking like an absolute battering. But the fact that they actually come back and made it respectable, you know, I think you have to credit the players there. So I want Barca to take Diaz so we can go for Rodrigo. Diaz is only on 55k a week at Liverpool. Yeah, that's what I heard as well. So Barca will be able to double that, whereas buying the likes of Williams, they would have to take 200k plus. Yeah, listen, I think, you know, I heard noise today that Diaz's reps are trying to discuss with Liverpool if they want to, like, where they see his future or something like that. Yeah. So Pogba, Neymar, Ronaldo to Europe. Nah, that's not going to happen. So Paul Smith says Deschamps needs to go now as holding France back. France have such talent, which should be winning more World Cups and Euros than they have during the Deschamps era. Yeah, listen, I agree, Paul, man. I think hopefully Deschamps steps down now and let Zidane come and take over. If it is Zidane, that's next. But yeah, I'm sick and tired of watching France, you know, just play defensive. And although his team selection tonight for me was surprising because I didn't see that happening. I'm just sick and tired of watching certain players play weak. I mean, he never plays Camavinga, and Camavinga's one of the best midfielders in the world for me. You know, Rabiot's always ahead of him, which is a problem. To think Tchouaméni didn't even get game time, which is a bit weird, you know. But yeah, so you always says, don't you think Bruno is super class? No, I don't. This numbers are just ridiculous. I can say that he's not far from KDB. So are you saying his numbers are ridiculous? So big up your way. And obviously I mentioned this yesterday. You know, whenever people tell me that Bruno's numbers are ridiculous, yeah, I'm gonna tell you why Bruno's numbers are ridiculous. You know, and it's quite obvious. Yeah, Bruno Fernandes is the captain of Man United. How I don't know. Um, he plays every game, and when you look at Bruno, like the team has been built in a way to facilitate and get the best of Bruno Fernandes. Yeah. And the thing is the thing with Bruno is that Bruno takes every corner, every free kick, every penalty. So his numbers are always going to be there because he's just on everything. You know, if you took penalties away from Bruno, you'll see Bruno's numbers drastically reduce. But the fact of the matter is, when people say to me, you know, he's the best chance creator, you know, or his numbers, he's the best chance creator. But Man United striker, Rasmus Højlund, who's poor, as poor as Højlund is, he has 3 to 4 league goals. But yet, Bruno is the best chance creator in Europe, apparently. So how's that the case when Man United striker has 3 or 4 league goals, as shit as Højlund is? You know? Not to mention, this chance creation nonsense is that how it works is that if Bruno puts a corner into the box, no matter how bad the corner is, if a Man United player gets their head to the ball, in this era of football, that counts as a chance created. So all this, you know, his numbers are ridiculous and all this other stuff. His numbers are ridiculous to the detriment of the team. Because if you take away Bruno's numbers, someone else is gonna get them numbers. But as a whole, the team might perform better. The team will perform better. So the thing with Bruno is that for his stats, it might look good, but as a whole, it ain't good because there's no doubting, there's no surprising why since Bruno's come to this club, his numbers look to be good, but the team's finishes are even worse. You know, and my thing is that, you know, you have to look at the bigger picture rather than looking at the numbers. So gamer, Pogba or Yaya Toure? Well, I'm gonna say it simply like this, yeah. Yaya Toure for me is the best midfielder to play in the Premiership, hands down. I think when he was at Man City, he was unplayable. I've never seen a season as dominant from a central midfielder ever in the Premier League. So I think Yaya Toure is the best central midfielder to play in the Premier League, and I'm taking him above the likes of Scholes, you know, Fabregas, many others. You know, the list is hard, but I'm saying Yaya Toure is the most. I think is the best midfielder to play in the Premiership. For me, Pogba is the most talented player to is the most talented midfielder out of both of them. Because there's things that Pogba can do with the ball that Yaya Toure doesn't do. You know, Pogba for me is an attacking midfielder from out wide, really, playing as a central that has the abilities of he's a central midfield player that has the abilities of a attacking midfield player out wide. You know, he's just that good as a footballer. You know, so I'm gonna say Pogba, but Yaya Toure for me is the best midfielder to play in the Premiership. You know, Ruud Gullit and Yaya Toure was just as complete midfielders as Pogba I've seen in my lifetime. I mean, when you're saying complete, I'm talking about. So if we're talking skill wise, Pogba's more skillful than Ruud Gullit and Yaya Toure. If we're talking physicality, yep. Pace, yep. But I'm talking about all rounded. You know, technical of both feet, and that isn't to say that Yaya Toure and Ruud Gullit aren't. But in terms of the long passing, Paul Pogba's a better long passer than both of them. You know, I think those two are definitely probably more goal threats than Pogba. But as an all-round midfielder, he's the most complete midfielder that I've ever seen. In terms of there isn't one attribute there isn't one attribute Pogba doesn't have, which is a positive, you know. Pogba passes to Valencia was art, and then you just watched his game and he can score goals like Cherki did today. He can chip like Yamal and play like more skillful Yaya Toure. It's pity for his injury. Yeah, listen, man, he's a joke, Paul Pogba, man. Just hopefully he gets back playing football soon. Where do you think Pogba will go? Do you know what? I honestly don't know. I mean, you've got a player there of that quality on a free transfer. You know, if I'm any manager, I'm just taking a chance on him, you know, and just getting him in. But I'm not too sure, man. I mean, I'd love it to be Man United, but that's unlikely. You know, we'll have to wait and see, man. But someone of that quality shouldn't be out of football for that long. So hopefully he finds a club very soon. Um, so Sham says, your way, you shouldn't bring up Bruno to Gav. Listen, you can bring up Bruno, but you might be surprised because I'm not gonna be like many other people and just praise this guy because this guy is a massive problem, and I've been saying he's a massive problem for years. And the fact that he's not going now, I'm hoping there's some sort of movement, but it's frustrating because he's holding his team back. Gamer says Zidane should be France manager. He should. He should. So your friend, oh yeah, Flawless. If anyone doesn't know Flawless, yeah, Flawless just went live, I think, just now. Yeah, big up to Flawless, man. I'm gonna try and get him back on again soon, sometime. Yaya Toure was best in Premier League in midfield for sure. Yeah, listen, Yaya Toure was an absolute joke, man. Absolute joke. Yaya Toure or Kaka? I mean, you can't really compare them. I think Kaka's more of an attacker than what Yaya Toure was. So I can't really compare them direct for a position. I think there is a bigger problems than Bruno taking numbers. There is more problems behind curtain. Just how every great player can't perform there. Yeah, listen. Man United as a whole, as a club, is a massive problem. The best footballers at this club don't get given leeway or don't perform at this club because the club's broken. The fact that Bruno, like the thing with Bruno, I wouldn't even say Bruno's performed. Bruno's just got numbers, and again, I've never seen a player given so much license at a big club in my life for a player so average, And as I said, he's got a lot of fans, and he's got a lot of he's got a lot of people that see right through it. And someone like me that's been watching football for years, watching Man United for years, I've never seen a player get given this much leeway that Bruno Fernandes gets given, and being less talented than a lot of the other players that I've been watching, So it's madness, man, absolute madness. United should go for Pogba. Yeah, I love Pogba to come at United. Davies looks like a Bayern Munich player. That's because he is. Do you think Deco was good? Deco was a top player, man. Deco was a top player. As I said, Deco was at Barcelona, FC Porto, Chelsea. He was a top player, Deco. So Sham says Flawless is doing an EA Sports stream. They're just playing FIFA together online. Okay. Yeah, I think that's his pro club he's doing. Yeah. I mean, I can't even come through, man, because I can't even go through afterwards. I've got to get up early tomorrow. But guys, before we wrap, big up for you, everyone, on all your questions. Going to go through some of the news, guys, that I've seen today. So obviously, some of you probably seen it as well. Arsenal linked to Rodrigo, Nico Williams, Leroy Sané, and Morgan Rogers. Now, Morgan Rogers is someone I'm a massive fan of. What makes me laugh is that I don't see Arsenal. I can only see Arsenal realistically getting Leroy Sané. I don't see them getting Rodrigo. No way. Nico Williams, they're gonna have to pay him a lot of money to come there, and I think he's got an affordable release clause, but the wages that he's on is massive. And Morgan Rogers, I don't see him going to Arsenal, and I think Aston Villa would ask for a lot of money as well. But you know what I mean? I think the fact they're being linked to them players, I mean, is it credible? I'm not too sure. But what I would say is that, you're looking at players there that, I mean, Leroy Sané, I don't really see it because I think Leroy Sané for me is, I think he's, I think he's on the end. I think he's at the end, should I say? But Morgan Rogers, Nico Williams, and Rodrigo definitely improve Arsenal, no doubt. No doubt they'll improve them. Obviously Napoli rejected Osimhen bid today, and it's looking like, Osimhen is looking likely he's going to Saudi. I do think Saudi will get that over the line. I think Napoli are asking for the release clause to be met, and I think Saudi will get that. I think Al Hilal will get that done. But guys, the one that I see today, Chelsea have been offered Mohamed Kudus. Now, I'll tell you this now for free, yeah? Obviously, West Ham want Robert Sanchez, because obviously Sanchez used to play for used to play under Graham Potter. Now, if Chelsea get Mohamed Kudus, I'm be honest with you. I think personally they're gonna challenge for the title, because it's funny how yeah, there's two players in the Premier League that, apart from Mo Salah, are two of the players that I'm looking at, the likes of Liverpool, to sign to replace Salah, that are Premier League proven. One of them's been linked to United in Brian Mbeumo. The other's Mohamed Kudus. Yeah. Now, if Kudus goes to Chelsea and they get rid of Madueke and possibly Neto, or keep Neto, you know, and then they're looking to bring in other players as well, I'm telling you now, Chelsea are going to be in for a title race, I believe, because Kudus for me is someone that United should be targeting. He's someone that Newcastle should be targeting if they can't get Mbeumo. Um, he should be playing. Kudus should be playing for a top 6 team. If Arsenal had anything about them, they should be targeting Kudus and not just saying that Bukayo Saka's the guy for them, because Saka got injured last season. And Kudus is someone that's a very good player. But the fact that he's been linked with Chelsea, I mean, Chelsea just keep doing this, man. Why do Chelsea just keep getting linked to players and then they get it over the line? Like, it's annoying, man. Absolutely annoying. But that's what I see today. Obviously, Brentford rejected the bid today for Brian Mbeumo. And what makes me sick about this is that Brentford have come out and said they want 60 million. Yeah. So what do United do? They offer 45 plus 10. I mean, stop the nonsense and just, if you want the player, at least offer them 55 million cash. Because I reckon if they said, look, we'll give you 55, not 55 million cash, but I reckon if United just said, look, we'll give you 55 million, I think Brentford accept that. But when you're coming in with the 45 and the 10 and the 10's add-ons, you know what I mean? You got to think they're losing their best player, arguably their best player, along with Vissa and Norgard. And you're offering 45 plus 10 when they've told you they want 60 mil. Just go and pay the money, man, and stop messing around. But what I'm surprised at as well is why no one's coming for Johan Vissa, And I think people think Vissa's old. Do you know what? I think Vissa's only 24, 25. And you wouldn't think that. I think Vissa might be 24, 25. If anyone knows for certain or can check it up, let me know how old Johan Vissa is. Because I'm surprised no team has come in. Like, if I was Newcastle, as I said, I'm surprised Newcastle didn't come in with a joint bid for Vissa and Mbeumo, which might total 100 million. Because if you get those two players together, you're going to go a long way to win this league, in my opinion. And I'm surprised that there's no teams that have even inquired about Vissa. And as I said, I think Vissa is. I think people might think he's older than what he is. I think he's only like 24, 25, I believe. And guys, this is the one that pissed me off today. So not only are City getting Cherky and Reinders, they've now agreed a deal with Wolves for Ryan Ait-Nouri, yeah? And Man United need a left-back, yeah? You would have thought they've signed Matthias Cunha from Wolves. Just go back for his teammate, Ryan Ait-Nouri, It's a no-brainer. Ryan Ait-Nouri is an upgrade on anything United have in that left wing-back position. And to think that City are getting Ait-Nouri for 33 million. 33.7 million, I heard, yeah? I don't know how City keep doing this. I mean, how can you get Ait-Nouri for 33 mil? And there's not even a sniff that Man United are trying to go in for him. And United need a left-back for me. Because as much as Dorgu's come in and he's been good as of late, but they need an upgrade in that position. And Ait-Nouri is a highly technical player, very good player. And City are getting him for 33 million. Like, I cannot believe that. 33 mil. When I see that, I thought it was a joke, man. But they're getting 33 million. Madness. Yeah. Obviously, Mike Maignan told AC Milan, that he wants to go Chelsea. And again, if Chelsea get Mike Maignan, again, man, they're sorting out issues that were problems last season. And again, Mike Maignan is one of the best goalkeepers in the world. I know, obviously, tonight he conceded 5 goals against Spain, but I think many teams that will happen to. But he's a very good keeper, obviously a leader as well. And he'd be a great addition to them. And he's in the last year of his contract. So Chelsea will fancy the chances. And the fact that he's told AC Milan he wants to go, I think it's only a matter of time they get that deal over the line for me. And that's that really, yeah. So let me just go through some of the questions before we wrap. Guys, big up yourselves. There's 18 likes so far. Let's try and get to 20. 11 of you watching. Let's at least try and get to 20, guys. Big up yourselves. So Kudus will thrive even more in the top 6 team. Yeah, I agree. He will. He will, man. He's a very good player, Kudus. And as I said, why Man United haven't been in for him? I know Mbeumo's a top target, so it's probably understandable. But if Chelsea get him, yeah, madness. GTA 6 is out May 26. Yeah, listen, I think that's gonna be probably one of the best games ever. And I'll be there for that, 100%. Gamer says Newcastle might not sign nobody or might just make smart signings like Isak, Guimaraes, Tonali. Newcastle signed 19-year-old, gonna loan him out straight away. Do you know that player? Yeah, I see it. I can't remember his name, but I did see something like that today. But oh, this is 29. Oh, I thought he was younger than that. He's 29. Oh, sorry, he'll be 29 in September. Okay, I thought he was younger than that. Okay, I mean, that's surprising. I thought he was younger than that. But I'm surprised no one's made a bid for him, to be fair, though. Yeah, Newcastle, obviously it's the PSR thing with them, Obviously, City want Livramento, and I heard that's, they were quoted 70 mil for Livramento, basically trying to price him out of a move. But I'm not sure what Newcastle are going to do, man. They definitely need to make some signings for me. I'm happy we're not paying Mbeumo 250 a week. I think he's asking too much. He's say 210 a week. Fair enough. Even Isak not getting that, maybe Newcastle to start giving pay rises. Yeah, I think we touched on that the other day, didn't we? Yeah, there's rumours about Mbeumo wanting 250, but you can see why he does want it, because let's be honest with you, man, he's one of the best attackers in the league. So, he's gonna be asking for that. And when you see the likes of Mason Mount on 250, hey, why wouldn't you ask for that? So but I'm not sure how much he's gonna get, but we have to wait and see. 150 to 170 a week is more than enough for Mbeumo. I mean, coming from Brentford, it is. But again, you got to look at what some of the other players are getting paid. Again, Mason Mount's on 250 and he's shit. So, I think Mbeumo will be looking at that thinking, well, if you're paying him 250, man, that's a starting point for me. So, yeah. So, Arid says, if there was more minutes, France would have won the game. Yeah, you know what? That's not a bad shout. Yeah, who knows? I mean, the momentum was definitely with them. And the fact they come down from 4 goals down is mad. So, yeah, it's madness, man. But so Ennis there says, do you think Man United should sign Douglas Luiz because he was a beast in the Premier League? And yes, he has regressed, but he controls games, so Man United should be looking at him. Man United need to sign Douglas Luiz and Carlos Baleba. This is why I'm so pissed off at the fact that Bruno Fernandes is still there, because if Bruno would have went, I could have, if Man United would have got Douglas Luiz and Baleba as a midfield pairing, as you said, you got someone that can control the game, that's good in the first phase of play as well. And then you've got the tenacity in the left foot, and the box-to-box running of Baleba. And that would have been a great combination, and you have the experience of Casemiro there. And obviously, if Ugarte stays the backup, so that would have been perfect, But the fact that Bruno's not going, I think it's probably going to be one midfielder at that best. And guys, don't forget as well, the window shuts on Tuesday. So a lot of these teams are going to have to be doing some quick business, So, yeah, it's a joke, man. It's a joke. But City will win the league with Livramento. He's so good back and pushing. Yeah, he's a very good player, Livramento, man. 100%. He's a very good player. Uh, so for me, as I said, from what the business is being done, City for me are now the favourites because they've got Cherky over the line. They've got Reinders and Ait Nouri as well. I mean, if Liverpool can get Verts over the line, Kirkes to go with Frimpong, I'll put them up there as well. Again, Chelsea, linked to Kudus, trying to get Mike Maignan. If they get a left attacker, there's been rumours to obviously Bino Gittins. I don't really rate Bino Gittins too much, but if they get a left attacker and if they can try and get another centre back, then again I'll put them up there as well. And everyone else, I think they're just being pretenders really. So yeah, it's mad. But we'll have to wait and see. I think Spurs have a chance beating PSG in Super Cup. No way. I think it's going to be comfortable for PSG. So yeah, I don't have them beating them. Let's just say it's going to be a great season. The race to win the league will go right down to the wire. I mean, you'd hope so for the excitement, but we'll have to wait and see, man. But I think definitely City and Liverpool are going to be up there for sure. Would you take Grealish? Rivals have made deals in the past. 100% I'll take Jack Grealish. I mean, Jack Grealish is a top player, man. I still think Jack Grealish is one of the best players in the league. But obviously under Pep he's gone stale, isn't it, really? Because, Pep kills talents, really, you can say. The only one he's let thrive is Messi, and obviously we know why that is. But Grealish needs to leave Man City and just go and play football where he can enjoy it. Because a player of his level, of his quality, shouldn't be on the bench, But I'd love him at United, but that's not going to happen, especially with his wage as well. 20 likes on my side too, but knowing Gav, he will say 19. Yeah, listen, it is 19 on there from what I can see. If there's 20, then all good. But yeah, I can see 19. Guys, again, if it's your first time on there, make sure you subscribe to my channel. And if you haven't pressed that like button, make sure you do, guys. Just one press of that button. Obviously, help the channel to grow. We got 19 likes. Let's at least try and hit 20, guys. Big up yourselves. Last question before we bounce. Did you see that Inter are selling all the old players and they are trying to buy Rashford and Rasmus Højlund? Listen, I'm hoping that's true. To get I need Højlund at this club as soon as possible. Obviously, Rashford's wages and that as well. Get him at the club. I think it's weird because Inter have lost Simone Inzaghi, their manager. What's going to happen to the likes of Bastoni and Barella, who are their two younger players, or well, say younger players, they're two Italian stars. I think a Serbi's been linked with Saudi as well. Yeah, 20 now, Sham. Big up, man. Even AC Milan are Maignan wants to go. Leao's been quoted at 109 million, so he's been priced out of a move. Reinders is gone Man City. Teo Hernandez is going Al Hilal. Pierre Kalulu has gone to Juventus. So again, that AC Milan team's being ripped apart now, and the same for Inter, man. I think Inter's time's probably come to an end as well. But yeah, I think it's a lot of transition for a lot of teams, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens. But guys, listen up. Big up yourselves for coming on each and every time. Big up to all the mods as well, for all your questions. Been going for about an hour and a half now, I'd say. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap up, guys. Obviously, early I need to get up early tomorrow. I haven't got anything scheduled tomorrow, but if I do go live, it might just be a spare of the moment thing. But if there's any news breaking about any players, as I said, I'll probably go live tomorrow. As I said, it might be a spur of the moment thing. So I ain't got nothing scheduled. But as I said, guys, big up yourselves each and every time for coming on. Hit 20 likes, which is decent. Most likes that we've had for one stream. So big up yourselves for doing that. And as I said, appreciate everyone coming through and contributing to the channel. Channel's growing nicely, guys. And obviously it's due to everyone coming through and contributing and giving me your questions. Big up to who's the one? I forgot his name again. Let me see. Yeah, big up to Ennis there for coming on back on again. Big up Ennis there. And I just want to find yeah, Your Way. Big up to Your Way for coming on, man. Your Way, big up yourself, man. Some great comments in the chat. And again, some great football knowledge from yourself as well, man. So keep that coming, guys, as I said. And again, big up to all my mods each and every time. Sham, Reluctant Gamer, Barbara Joseph, Daniela Iacona, DXR. Yeah, big up yourselves for coming on, guys. Really appreciate it, as you know. And big up all the newcomers as well. And guys, as I said, if you do enjoy the content, make sure you subscribe to my channel at GavGoesIn. Obviously, trying to build this channel, you know. And again, if you haven't smashed that like button, make sure you do. And check out all my other content, guys. Some good content on there. You know, obviously, I've had Flawless from Sarcasm City on there as well. If anyone doesn't know Flawless, obviously Flawless is, you know, he's got quite a big name in the YouTube space, you know. Some good chat of him as well. So obviously, hopefully, going to try and get him back on again. And again, guys, yeah, just going to keep building, keep putting the content out. And as I said, if you guys enjoy the content, give me your comments once the stream's ended as well. And as I said, keep viewing, guys, and let me know if there's any other things you want to talk about, sport-related, you know, football-related. But as I said, guys, big up yourselves for coming on. Smash that like button, subscribe to my channel, and I'm going to catch you guys in a bit. Take it easy.